All right, welcome back to Something Like a Podcast. This is episode 28. I am RM.
And I'm Aaron Swam.
Okay, we wanted to start off. We actually did this phone conversation last week. It didn't work out that well. The mic didn't pick up everything. So
I just had something come up, that's why.
Yeah, something came up. We tried to make it work, but it just didn't work. But I did want to touch on this coronavirus thing real quick. I know everybody's been talking about it. But there are some things that I truly don't understand. And you know what? When we were talking about it, I wish I had pulled up. Maybe you can pull it up on your phone. There's a map that shows where the coronavirus is hitting most.
China.
Well, China, then it skips over to Italy, and then it skips over to America.
And Paris gets it.
Paris. So my question is, why is it only certain places getting?
That's what I'm saying. I still think this thing is engineered. People saying it's not.
I think it is too. Oh, so I'm glad you said that. Bill Gates, I think this was 2 or 3 years ago. Bill Gates was somewhere and he was talking about this, but he was talking about how they can engineer viruses. Now people say that AIDS was engineered. There's another virus that's eluding me, maybe Ebola. That these
they said AIDS was engineered?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's this myth that it came from Africa and monkeys. That's bullshit. So there's a lab in Maryland that I've been hearing about where it's like a biochemical lab and they can engineer viruses. So to your point, a lot of people are saying the coronavirus has been engineered. So back to what I was saying about Bill Gates. He was saying something to that effect, that they can engineer a virus and just kind of let it loose. People were like, you're really telling us this? Yeah. So the question is, why? First, try to answer this question. Why do you think it's just jumping? Why is it certain areas that are being hit? And why are these areas?
Most populated people, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe just because if it is bio
engineered,
they don't like people, they don't like them. Maybe I'm just trying to figure out why you attack these countries but not attack the whole world.
So because Canada is right above us, obviously.
Canada hardly has any cases.
Yes, and Brazil, South America in the whole, they don't have too many cases. So it just stops at the border. Mexico, when I looked at the map, Mexico wasn't getting hit like this either. So it just automatically stops at these borders?
That doesn't make sense.
At all.
Nope. If it was actually a thing, it would hit everywhere. Okay.
So now I'm going to give you why I think this is... Well, I mean, that alone shows that it might be... First of all, let me say this. There have been people who died from this, and there's people who's sick. So, again, we don't disrespect that type of stuff. But you have to start asking these questions.
You do.
I told you the story when I went to Burger King. I'm not going to tell the Burger King story, but I'm going to tell the Safeway story. So I told you the Burger King story,
you did.
Right? And it sounded...
weird.
Yeah. So I go to Safeway, and the first thing I noticed is there's more and more people wearing masks. But none of the employees are wearing masks or gloves. How much sense does that make?
It doesn't make any sense. I don't wear gloves or masks.
So you would think... I understand that. So you would think if they're doing... What I did notice, I went to Safeway 2 to 3 days ago, and now they have these signs up. And you might have seen it at... Do you go to Wawa?
Yeah.
Do you see they have these little markers up now where you have to stand?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. They have these little markers up, and now they have these little shields up in front of the counter where, if you sneeze or cough or anything, it's going to hit the shield. It's not going to hit the person working. But nothing has been put in place for these employees to wear gloves or masks.
Nope.
It doesn't say anything.
Nope. Even if they made me, I wouldn't do it. Just because it's not going to save me.
Okay, but I would say this. For the safety of the customer, they might say that.
I shouldn't even be... Nothing should be open. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
If you're going to have workers come into work, everything should be closed down. You do curbside, orders only. The associate comes out there, gloves and a mask on, give them their stuff and move on. I disagree with the fact that some of these stores, especially the one I work at, is open.
Yeah, so that might lead you to believe that it's not that serious.
Nope.
So they're putting up this. It's called a red herring, where it's pretty much a smokescreen. So yeah, we're gonna shut down everything, but everything's still open. So when we did the phone thing, I was running down the list of all the stores, and the florists are still open. How's that essential?
It's not.
Exactly. So I could understand your grocery stores and your gas stations, but yeah, home improvement stores shouldn't be open.
Nope. They're not essential. This ain't a
It's
natural
not.
disaster.
It's
I could see if it was a natural disaster. That's different.
Yeah.
This is a nationwide virus. It's taking lives
Yeah.
from people in the ICU. But
see,
is that enough? Like you're risking the lives of these workers, plus you're risking the lives of the other customers. Maybe
You are.
maybe one of the workers at work probably has it, but doesn't show any symptoms. It depends who you are.
Yeah.
You might not have no symptoms of it.
That's
you pass
true.
it to somebody else, and now look at them.
That's true. So let me give you some numbers real quick. The coronavirus, I did a study. The coronavirus and the influenza, are almost the same.
Just one's a little bit more deadly.
Which one do you think's more deadly?
Corona.
No.
No, the actual flu?
Yes. 2018, 80,000 people died from the flu.
So the flu is more serious than this.
So why didn't they shut everything down during the flu? Why didn't they have people wearing masks during this 2018? We could just use 2018.
That's what I'm saying.
So coronavirus, I checked today. When I did the study, I think it was 12,000. So it's up to 16,000 people. 80,000 come on. Maybe they're seeing the trajectory, but what I've read is it's now starting to come down. Like there's not as many cases being reported as, initially. So to me, it's something more than that. But what? What is it?
So if the common flu killed more people than this thing, like I said, we're not disrespecting nobody. We have respect.
We're just asking questions.
We're just asking questions. Is the fact is that if that's the case, then the media blew this thing up at the proportion out the water.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there are people, and these are conspiracy theories. Some people think that some of these celebrities were getting paid to say they had the coronavirus.
And they don't have it.
Who knows? I mean, we haven't heard of a celebrity dying.
Nope.
All we're here, and I'm going to give you one more thing. They're saying that some of these people who are dying might have had pre-existing conditions that had nothing to do with COVID-19. It could have been a heart condition. It could have been something. And when they died, they just put them under that checklist. So they're boosting this number up to scare the public.
Well, why would anybody want to do that?
I don't know. But that's a perfect question. Like, why are celebrities... And no, we're not wishing death on celebrities, but why aren't any of the celebrities dying when regular people are dying? This virus we just talked about is in select countries, and it's
just
hitting
killing
select
certain people. And it's, again, you have to have a strong immune system.
Yeah.
You just come out like a bad cold and you fight it off.
Well, I just saw on the news today there was a 70-some-year-old man, I forget which state it was, and he was in the hospital for 10 days and he survived it.
But that should tell you his immune system was strong enough.
And I think there was a woman that they showed.
I think 100. I think 107-year-old man survived. The Spanish flu.
Okay.
He fought in the wars going back I think World War I or something like that, or whatever. I forget what I read, but he survived the Spanish flu, whatever else that was back then, all that, and he survived 5 plagues, including this one.
So there you have it.
That should be proof enough that maybe, like you said, that it maybe had a precondition, or maybe COVID-19 gave them this condition, or maybe it didn't, and maybe that they already had it.
See, but that's what I don't understand is we didn't get a lot of this. Yeah, please pull something up.
We'll see.
I just don't understand how. And now they're saying that this disease is more harmful to black people, African Americans. But if that's true, then when this disease first kicked off, you would be hearing about it. We're all of a sudden just now hearing about this. That's why it just doesn't add up to me.
It doesn't. As I'm seeing, I don't see anything really popping up. COVID-19. Let me see. No, it really doesn't say anything. Just how people are dying, stuff like that. The norm stuff. The media is not really reporting anything else. They're not thinking like we all asking questions that I can see right now. Like, come on, guys, people that's listening, you need to ask yourself this question.
Yeah.
Why is it not hitting the whole word, and it's just hitting certain selected countries?
Yeah.
Why are we getting hit so hard? Why is China getting hit so hard? Why is Paris getting hit so hard? But guess what? Canada's not. Like we said, Canada's
South
not.
America, Africa, it jumped over all those different.
And same with, I think South Korea had one, and they
killed the guy,
which was unfortunate.
It's unfortunate
and sad.
But yeah, like he said, those are questions you have to ask. And you know what? Watching the news, I've already been privy to this.
I don't watch the news.
I know, I don't either. It's depressing.
It's depressing and too much drama.
But I've already been privy to how the news portrays things. They twist it, and they're probably given a script. Just read off of this.
Make it sound good because they get ratings for it.
But when I watch the news, I watch it through a different lens, so I can see when it's BS.
It's definitely, because that's all they talk about is COVID-19. I'm sick of hearing COVID-19. Again, we're not disrespecting anybody. It's just that's all everybody talks about.
Yeah.
And a customer asked me the other day, "You're not wearing a mask?" Yeah, I'm like, so I literally said to his face, "This is not gonna save you. You're either gonna catch it or you're not gonna catch it." And like I said, I'm not worried about catching it.
Yeah. But see, I think it's putting the American people and people in other countries, maybe worldwide, even those countries that don't have it, is putting them in fear of this disease.
That's what I'm saying. It's scaring everybody. Again, the way I look at it, we talked in the past. It's in Revelation, okay?
Yeah.
It's in Revelation. This will be plagues that takes over this word, and that's what's happening. This is one of many.
Yeah, but the question still remains: if the common flu has killed
more people,
like what,
double
6 times,
6 times, like double, like you said, 6 times the people.
Then why weren't these precautions taken?
Then, but then all of a sudden, COVID-19 comes out, and everybody's like,
you want to know? Most of it has to do because it came from China. So now they can blame China for something.
That's the cover story.
Yeah.
We're looking at through another lens that I think it's I smell conspiracy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what else could it be? If it came from,
if it didn't come back, if they probably eating stuff like that going back to 2000, why it didn't happen in the year 2000?
Listen, they just put regulations on them eating cats and dogs.
That should have been
a delicacy
thing
over there.
That should have been a thing already.
Yeah. So if you're eating bats and I don't know what they're eating over there. As long as I don't know. I mean, I know they carry certain diseases, and maybe even if you cook it very, very well, it still might not kill some of these diseases. I don't know.
But why would you want to eat something like that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. But at the end of the day, like you stated, for those out there listening, just do your research. Don't believe what they tell you on the news. They'll send you down the wrong path to hell.
Exactly. Like I said, obviously if it was that severe, nothing would be open. Really, it'd be a ghost town. You had to stay in your house. Everybody had to stay in the house. Obviously, it's serious, but it's not as
making it more. They're making a what is it? They're making a mountain out of a
molehill, basically.
So they're doing that
because I'm telling you, something more big's going to come eventually.
Well, that's what they're saying. Like 2020. And I did want to touch on something about Kobe Bryant. So. We're kind of switching gears real quick. So when the Kobe Bryant thing first happened, when I went on YouTube, all I saw was videos of Kobe Bryant and foul play. I mean, I saw so many videos I couldn't even watch them.
We all established, everybody knows if they have listened to the show and they actually thought about it looking through the different lens like we did.
Yeah.
He actually it was foul play.
Okay.
This was planned. Somebody with 20,000 hours and still end up.
Yeah, but here's the question: why can't you find any of those videos now?
Because they took
one.
They took them down.
They took all of them down.
You know why? Because they know it's true.
Cover up. So someone posted on Facebook something I saw where on Google, like the day of and maybe a few days after, they said Kobe Bryant's assassination. Not his death, but Google said this, his assassination.
And they took it down.
Yeah, they changed it. So, I mean, the proof is right there.
Yeah, but you assassinated 9 people. Just not Kobe.
Yeah.
You assassinated 8 other people. Why?
So, someone asked the same question, and they said, whoever this being is or this group of people who have this power, they will take out probably a whole town just to get the one person if they have to. Some people are ruthless like that.
What was he involved in?
That's the question. Some people are saying something about this. He was fighting a pharmaceutical company who wanted to use his Mamba name. Who knows? I don't know.
Why would a pharmaceutical company commit murder?
That's what I'm saying. I don't have the answers. I really don't. I'm just going off of conspiracy theories I've heard. But what we do know is
he was murdered. By who? We probably never gonna know that answer because of if they're good enough, they can hide.
Yeah.
If it's an organization, nobody's gonna take credit for it.
Yeah. But the reason I was bringing that up is to kind of glue all of this together. These people who have control over the media, they can do whatever they want. So if the truth comes out, they can just take it down.
They can.
And then replace it with their own narrative. So, I mean, yeah, I don't listen to... there's two news outlets I listen to. It's TYT, the Young Turks, and another one's RT. I forget what it stands for, but they're just an alternative news outlet. So they're going to give you the truth no matter how bitter it is.
TMZ is not... No,
it's trash.
No, I think TMZ is part of conspiracies anyway.
They have to be.
They have to be the first one to report every other thing. Guess what? We established this on the past show. Negative
stuff. And I thought that like CNBC and a few of these news outlets were good outlets, but they're not. I know Fox News is trash. I've come to that conclusion a long time ago. But all the ABC and CBS, from what I've been seeing the last couple of days, they're trash too. So,
anyways, let's go ahead and let's reel it back in because now we're getting.
I mean, that's all.
Yeah, that's all we need for the COVID-19 thing.
The COVID-19, and I spoke on the Kobe thing just to kind of put everything together. That people who control the media, they can control every single thing, and we have the ability to put videos up.
Yep.
So I told you the videos I put up, they'll flag it. They'll say, okay, this country can't watch it, or you can't get money from it because it has like copyrighted material on it. But to take someone made a video who clearly YouTube, all their guidelines they met. They didn't have any music in it. They didn't have any videos that they didn't create. It was just them speaking, and they still took it down. So that just means, hey, you're saying something. You're on the right track. So we got to get rid of the video.
Yep. Maybe you in the process if we know who you are.
Yeah. Let's hope not.
No.
I did want to talk about. Let's just get to this. We were going to save this to the end of the show, but I want to get this out. People keep bringing up this LeBron James, Michael Jordan comparison. That's why, and to Clutch Crew, I remember we had this discussion with them. That's why they don't watch Undisputed and these up, because they talk about the same stuff every single day.
It's just boring.
If it's not the Lakers, then it's LeBron. If it's not LeBron, then it's the
Michael.
Lakers. It's something. So they don't have anything else to talk about. So now they're bringing up this thing again.
In my opinion, Michael Jordan is the best of all time over LeBron, because Michael. Okay. The only reason why I say that, because Michael Jordan set the stage for LeBron, for Carmelo Anthony,
Kobe, all of
Chris Bosh, Kobe.
Okay, but I'm going to put some stats out here because I've had this conversation with too many people, and Shannon Sharp says something that I'm just going to obliterate. So people shouldn't have to talk about this any longer. Michael Jordan. First, I'll say this. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest basketball player of all time. I'm talking about from high school all the way to the NBA. I think he never lost a game in high school. He got to college. He dominated college and then got to the NBA. He's the all-time leading scorer. I think he has 6 championships.
He's a first overall pick, wasn't he?
He had to be. I mean, come on. He was so dominant in college. I don't know if you could pull that up, but Milwaukee Bucks, he had to be the first overall pick.
I'm looking at me now.
But while he's looking that up, this whole Michael Jordan, LeBron James thing, LeBron James is an immense talent. He came out of high school, and he was a force to be reckoned with as soon as he got into the league. Michael Jordan was the same way. But the difference between Jordan and LeBron is Jordan never lost in the finals. He never lost in the finals. He was never went to a game 7. I'm gonna let him pull it up because this seems kind of weird. His attention is not over in this area right now.
No, because I'm trying. Here he is. I put him up. I was just trying to find because his name is so hard to spell.
Well, it might be Lou Alcindor.
Yeah. All right. Let me see where he was drafted. Kareem. He was drafted. Cause I'm curious.
Yeah, it has to be number 1 overall.
I'm just curious.
Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, in his 20th season. It doesn't really say right
It
here.
has to.
It has to. Yeah, because of what I was on.
I mean, usually Google is good. They'll pull it right up. Like as soon as you type it in, that'll be the first thing you see.
I wasn't on Google though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's see it now.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
It's all good.
I'm just trying to see because I'm curious. Because I think he was forced over.
He had to be. There's no other player as dominant as he was in college. He had to be number 1 pick. Easy.
He was.
All right.
It doesn't. I don't have time to look for it.
But we know
we know.
he's number 1 overall. It's if
because I think Milwaukee had a down year previously.
Yeah. And like I said, you can't be that dominant in college and then
not go first overall. The first team passes over you.
Yeah, but
you have to take you.
Yeah, but the reason I say him is because he doesn't get the respect. People always look over. He has the numbers. He has the championships.
He has more than numbers, I think, than LeBron.
Yeah, he's the all-time leading scorer.
Yeah. I don't think LeBron's ever going to get to him. I don't think.
A lot of people say LeBron can play maybe 3 or 4 more years. He might be able to.
I don't think. I don't know. I don't know how his body feels.
He looks in pretty good shape.
That doesn't mean anything because because if you keep dunking like that, they say it takes a toll on your body, especially when you get up in age.
They say LeBron James spends $1 million on his body a year.
Do you think he could go more than 4 seasons?
Yeah.
If I can go and play another, be like non-Tom Brady.
Vince Carter's still playing. Even though Vince Carter doesn't play as many minutes and his role is limited, LeBron is a freak of nature. Listen, Dwayne Wade was drafted with LeBron, retired. Carmelo Anthony was drafted with LeBron. He was out until Portland called his number. Chris Bosh was drafted with LeBron. He's
lung
out.
issues,
blood
clots.
Darko Milicic's out the league. I know there's a lot more players
in that draft alone in 2005.
They're all going, and LeBron is still like the second best player in the league right now.
But again, I know he spends $1 million on his body, but at the end of the day, your body only takes so much.
Okay, we're getting off track.
We are. Let's just get back real
Okay, so with the Michael Jordan, LeBron James thing, I was going into it, but I wanted your undivided attention when I was saying this. LeBron James, how many times has he been to the finals?
6 times.
6 or 7?
6 or 7. He won.
He has 3 rings, right?
He won 3 of the 7.
3 of the 7.
Oh, 3 of the 6, whatever you want to call it.
3 or 6 or 7. Okay, Michael Jordan's undefeated.
You have 6-0. He could at least easily win 10-0 if you just would put the baseball fucking down.
Yeah, but that's another story. Why he left.
Yeah.
So he could have went 8 straight.
Or 10 or like I said, it doesn't have to be 8 straight, but he could have went 10-0 in the NBA Finals.
Either way,
nobody's
never
undefeated in the finals other than Michael Jordan. That's
Tim
why
Duncan was close,
but he
lost 1.
He lost 1. It doesn't matter.
LeBron.
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
loss is a loss.
Yeah, but this is LeBron versus Mike.
Yeah.
So we're giving Mike the checkpoint for undefeated
he's
in the finals.
6-0.
Okay,
and that's not going to change because he's not playing ever again.
Okay, Finals MVPs
6 times in a row.
LeBron has 3.
Yep.
Okay, that's another check for Mike. 10-time scoring champion. How many times has LeBron won the scoring title?
Tell me.
I think maybe 2.
And he won like 6 times, 7 times.
Who?
Mike?
10.
10 times.
He's 10-time scoring champion. Let's even be generous and say LeBron won it 3 times.
Which that's not true.
Another check for Mike.
That's not even true, but yeah.
Another check for Mike. Defensive Player of the Year. Jordan. LeBron's never been. That's another check for Mike. They both got Rookie of the Year. Something that's not Skip. Shannon Sharp said that I want to kind of obliterate. He said Michael Jordan never faced a team like LeBron has faced in the finals. I said that's hogwash. First of all, Michael Jordan played in, I like to call it the arch rival era of
He did, but it was
basketball.
back then. It was different back
tough.
then. It was tough. I think it was
You
tougher
could
back then.
handshake.
Yeah.
I've seen people get clotheslined in the game.
Nothing being done about it.
Like punch. You've heard about the Pistons, right?
Yeah.
The bad boy Pistons, where they would just slam you down, do anything they could, and Michael Jordan beat that team. Could LeBron do it? We don't know.
No, because he wasn't in that era. But I'm just saying this back nowadays. Again, you can't touch. If I touch your arm,
That's a foul. Yeah,
that's two.
that's what I'm
So
saying.
that's what I'm saying.
But let me give you this.
I can even sniff you, and they're gonna say
That's a foul.
that's a foul. 2 free throws, please.
Okay, so LeBron lost to the Dallas Mavericks, which had Dirk Nowitzki and who else? Old Jason Kidd.
Yeah, and then JJ Barea, which is a bench player.
Okay, so you mean to tell me that, and LeBron lost to that team?
Yep.
You trying to tell me the Chicago Bulls couldn't beat that Dallas Mavericks team?
Anybody?
They would crush them.
Yeah.
He lost to the Spurs too in the finals.
He lost to Golden State in the finals.
He lost to Golden State in the finals. I think Chicago could beat both of those teams.
Yeah. Again, like I said, back then you gotta realize something. Michael Jordan and Shannon Sharpe needs to get his glasses on, because back then it was different.
It was different.
It was harder. You could like you said, you could go down the court, somebody just says, "Come here, bitch."
And then knock you out. They'll clothesline you, elbow you.
Yep.
I seen
And
Carmelo
nobody
catch
calls
an
a
elbow
foul.
from David Robinson, and he almost got he was knocked out cold.
That's what I'm saying, and nothing was done about it, because that's why they changed the game now, because of that going back. But at the end of the day, is Michael Jordan played in an era that it was so tough. You had to be really skilled to do it. And what he did, he got all the check marks that you could possibly say. He has a good amount of points, good amount of assists, good amount of steals. He has, like you said, the awards to back it up, the rings to back it up.
One more thing though. Michael Jordan missed 2 years when he played baseball, right?
Yep.
He played a couple years in college, and he retired early. LeBron James came right out of high school and played all the way up until now.
Yeah, if he, that
so
didn't
that's
happen,
why his numbers are higher than Mike's, because
Yes.
Mike hasn't played as many years in the league.
If they had the back with no high schoolers like they did when
Jordan
LeBron
coulda came.
No, I'm saying when LJ came into the league.
Yeah.
If they would have made it so
You had to go to college.
he would not be in this position, because he would have been at least 21, 22 before he could actually enter the league.
Yeah, so that would take a lot of his points away.
It would have. That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
So if you
he
guys think
probably
about
wouldn't-
that,
he probably wouldn't be past Jordan at this point.
no, he probably don't think he would never will.
Yeah.
If he come in as 18-year-old phenom.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So people that says no, LeBron's the best, LeBron's the best. Again, you have your right to your opinion. We're not bashing you. At the end of the day, is all I'm saying is look at the numbers,
It's
look at them
opinion
close.
versus fact.
It is. Look at the facts here. All the check mark goes to Mike is
Mike.
because you see it. You see it, and plus also you know
Okay.
why I give him the check mark is like we just said it. The
accolades.
era, and
to put up those
accolades.
numbers in that era.
In that era, that's so tough. Even in my opinion, I don't think LJ could have done that back then. I'm not saying.
Well, they would have attacked him.
They
would
would
have
attacked him, yeah.
I would like to see LeBron James play against that Pistons team.
and see how he does. Then that's when you can actually say.
Yeah. I will give LeBron this. He's a better rebounder
He
than
is.
Jordan. He's a better passer than Jordan. And I think he's a better team leader than Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan was more of a scorer.
He was, and he led by example, because I just read something where some people say they wish they never played with Jordan. But he's so intense, he wants to bring out the best in you.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You could be down by 20.
Yeah.
And Jordan's like, yeah, it's just like a Joe Montana and for the 49ers. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're down, but I'm going to marching 97 yards down the field and we win.
Yeah.
Pretty much that's what Jordan did, down by 20 to this one of these teams. What'd he do?
Yeah.
Came back and kicked their ass.
So that's another check to Jordan.
Because I never see LeBron ever be down. He was down 3-1, but I'm talking about in a game, in a single eliminate. No,
But that's better to
that's-
be down
yes.
3-1 and come back.
Yeah, so
I give him that.
we give him that one. That's
I
definitely.
definitely give him that. But look, we've seen LeBron in crunch times. He not want to go to the free throw line because he knows maybe he's afraid. Maybe he's insecure. Like that plays in your head. Like, okay, I can't shoot free throws that well. So if I go to the line when it's crunch time, I'm not going to be able. Michael Jordan's going. He's going. And he's going to make his free throws.
No, Michael Jordan was good with free throws.
Hell yeah, he was like 84%, 85% from the free throw line. LeBron's what, 69?
Yeah.
So there it is.
Check to Michael.
That's a clean sweep.
Yep.
Outside of the rebounds and the passing.
Yeah, so everybody that's like, no, you're wrong. pull up those numbers and you put them by
Trust me,
side.
you'll never have this argument again.
Everything, not just the numbers. Look at the accolades. Yeah. Look at some film back in the day with Michael. Look at some film with the Detroit Pistons team that could actually hit you, clothesline you. The refs, there was no rules in place where you see this little sissy basketball that you see now.
Yeah.
They didn't play like sissies back then.
Right. So, to all that, this argument should never be brought up again. It's no contest. It's not even close. I heard LeBron say after he beat that Warriors team, I'm the greatest. No, you're not. Your friends might tell you that.
But you're really not.
You're not.
Michael Jordan has a lot to say about it because it's all his accolades.
Yeah.
He has more accolades than you. You might beat him in numbers, but again, they're just numbers.
Because you played longer.
Because again, just imagine if that rule was into place where you had to go to college out of high school. You cannot go to the NBA. You wouldn't even have those numbers.
So here's a way of looking at it. Russell Westbrook. No one considers Russell Westbrook to be the greatest.
He's not the greatest.
Okay. But if Russell Westbrook played 30 years in the NBA, he would be the all-time leader in everything. So
that's not happening, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's to my point. It's like, okay, just because you're playing an extended amount of time, you're going to beat these numbers. You're going to beat
but
these
you're not
leagues.
going to beat the accolades because it's harder to get these awards now than it was probably most likely back then.
And to be honest with you, it's nothing. LeBron can't go back in time and win those championships that he lost.
Exactly. So that's what people going to say. That's going to be argument. You lost. You're 3-7. You can say that.
I don't know.
Yeah, 3-6.
It might be 3-7. Let's count it out. He went when he was with Cleveland. He went against the Spurs
twice. He went two finals, right?
I'm kind of going in chronological order.
Go ahead.
So it was one time with that early Cleveland team. He went to the Spurs, right?
Mm-hmm. He lost.
He lost. They got swept. Then he goes to Miami, right? They go 3 times. They lost to the Mavericks. Did they lose? They lost to the Mavericks.
Yeah, because
they beat the Spurs and then they beat the Thunder. So that's 4. Then he went how many times with Cleveland? 3?
2 maybe, and lost. Other than 1, he came back.
Okay, so 2.
Yeah.
So that's 6. It might be 7. For some reason, I want to say he went 3
it
times
doesn't matter.
Cleveland.
But again, you can look at that. Mike is 6-0. He should have been. If he would have continued playing, he could at least been at least 8-0. It's 10-0 easily. But at the end of the day, we're looking at a 6-0 to 3-7 or 3-6.
Yeah.
And that's not. He's not winning this year.
Yeah.
Sadly, he's not winning. So he's gonna. Yeah. He'd even be lucky if he hits the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
And Anthony Davis might walk out on him.
He might. I don't know.
Go to Chicago. Why wouldn't you? We had this conversation. I know we're getting off a little bit topic.
Yeah,
but
they have a better core.
Young core right there. And you come in there and you're only 27, and they sign you to like a 4-year deal, and you get money, and you with all these young guns. Hell, I would.
And people will go to Chicago because of the history there. So that alone should bring people into Chicago. But I did want to switch gears. I have a conspiracy theory.
Ooh, we love that.
Yeah. Let me find it real quick because I just watched it this morning. Okay, so there's this conspiracy theory about being a Middle Earth.
What the?
So there's a Earth. It might sound crazy, but I'm gonna give you some stuff that might make a little sense. But again, this is all conspiracy.
This is not true, guys. Conspiracy could be true, may not be true, but this is just our opinion.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Well, yeah, this is I got this off the History Channel, so it's not like I just
it's not written in stone. Yeah,
this is off the History Channel. So back in the 1700s, I'm using the 1700s, and then I'm gonna tell you something I learned a while back. So in the 1700s, some of these scientists, these astrologers, astronomers, mathematicians, came up with the idea that there's an Earth inside the Earth. So apparently there's 4,000 miles that you have to drill before you get to the center of the Earth. This is what they're saying. We've only drilled 8 miles down because they get to a level where it's like maybe magma, where it's just too hot. So someone was saying something about the North and the South Pole. The North Pole and the South Pole have entrances to get you to the middle of this Earth, which there is a civilization that is more advanced than we are. Now, I read this, and the first thing that came to mind was, this is some shit that I read. Or no, excuse my French. This is some stuff that I watched maybe 2 years ago, but it came from ancient Egypt, where there was this story about Yakub. Yakub is, people might know him as the big head scientist. Now, this is kind of like an allegory, but apparently he lived in the middle of the earth. He had a dispute with his father, and his father cast him out to the upper layer of the earth. Long story short, every couple thousand years, someone from the middle of the earth comes up and shares technology. So remember we had this discussion on how you go from little old phone to now you have a phone that can do all this crazy stuff, Bluetooth and GPS and all this stuff. So did we ever ask the question, how do we advance so fast like that?
Nope.
So you remember the phone line, landline phones, right?
Yeah, just with the code, and you can't even get on the internet.
So what's the time span between the landline phone and the smartphone?
I would say between probably 1970, like ish.
No, okay. So
going then to the smartphone around. We stuck at the flip phones in 2000.
Yeah.
I was 5.
So I did a video not too long ago about the greatest invention, and I think on there I saw they said there was a guy, I forget his name, I should know it, I did the goddamn video, excuse my French, where it was like the early 90s where he came out with the first smartphone, and it was from Apple, if I'm not mistaken. Now this was like the beginning stages.
But they never really released, because the first iPhone had come out in 2007.
Okay, but I mean, it's a different type of phone.
Yeah.
This one wasn't color, and it probably had limited
and I guarantee you,
abilities.
they axed it before it could ever even get started.
I think it came out.
I never heard about it, because
Okay.
I really follow Apple heavily, and even Hunter is
Okay. Well, maybe
an
it,
Apple.
maybe it wasn't
Guru.
Apple. Maybe
No.
it was something else,
It
because it
hasn't
was
been
called something else. But
Because they was thinking about releasing something back then, but they never did.
They never did.
They never released because it looked shit. So they
Okay.
really didn't.
So in any event, you're going from a landline phone to a smartphone that can do damn near anything you can imagine in what, less than 20 years?
Yeah. Because like I said, 7 years after 2000, Apple came out with the very first iPhone.
Okay. So that leads me to this. How long was it before we went from horse and carriage to a sports car?
Ooh.
That's way more than 20 years. It was years and years and
Yep.
years. So don't you ask this question, how do we come up with this technology so fast?
I have, but then I really didn't look into it.
Okay. So getting back to this middle Earth, they call it something else, center Earth, hollow Earth.
No,
That's
but
what
listen,
they call it, hollow
but
Earth.
I do got a counter
Okay.
thing on that. You said magma.
Yes.
So how's any civilization can survive unless they're not human?
I'll give you another one. This is what these. Okay, so sometimes you have scientists and they might be too smart for their own good. So one scientist said there's a sun in the middle of the Earth, and I'm like, really? Do you know how hot the sun is?
Yeah.
So
400 million. I think it probably is at least 400 million.
I don't know what it is. I know
Something to that
it's
nature.
you can't even get close to it without disintegrating.
Same. So just imagine what the center of the earth is like.
Not only that, how can a civilization live in the middle of the earth when you have a sun in the middle of the earth? That just doesn't add up.
No, but it's no sun. It's the energy of the earth, like we just said.
Yeah, well, see, again, these are mathematicians and scientists. Apparently, they're the smartest people of that time.
But guess what they are though?
What's that?
Human.
They're human.
And they're not perfect. So, but
Listen.
you could be the smartest tool in the shed.
Listen to this. I've never taken one class in science. Okay, high school, but I'm talking about like this. I'm talking about like the advanced level,
Yeah.
like physics and quantum mechanics and all that stuff. I can sit here and tell you there's no way there's a sun in the middle of the earth and then there's a civilization living. And they're coming up with
Where's
all
your
these
water
equations.
source? Where's your water source? Where's your food? Duh.
There might be a way that,
No.
I mean, if you think about the poles, right? There might be a way where this is what I'm going off of. Okay, so I'm gonna give you something else that might be a head scratcher. So let me get the guy's name correct. It was Richard Byrd, 1940s. He flew to the North Pole and apparently he saw the opening. He wrote it down in his journal. He flew to the South Pole a few months later and saw the opening. Now, apparently when he got to the South Pole, he went in and saw the civilization. Now, people are saying he's a quack, but let me give you this. When he got back, the government pulled him to the side and questioned him. And you know what they said? Don't ever talk about this again. So if he was a quack and he was making this up, do you think the government would tell him not to ever talk about it again? We've talked about cover-ups before and how they hush people.
He didn't die from them. He just died.
He didn't die from them, but apparently they told him not to talk about it.
But the reason why I'm scratching my beard right now is because I'm trying to get past the fact is he's seen it. If he's quote unquote seen it, why would you not
record it?
Yeah, I don't know if you had something back then to record it.
Yeah, because I saw a video of them recording him in the airplane. So they had the 1940s. Yes, they had that stuff.
Yeah, so why did he record it? Or also, why did he talk to somebody? Maybe
that's the question. Maybe he is lying. Maybe he made up the fact that the government pulled him to the side and told him never to speak about it again.
Could just make the story sound more
just to to make it sound real. But that's what I'm saying. I don't believe it, but you have a story, and I did want to touch on people who steal other people's work too, because this guy from the 1700s who came up with the theory that there's a hollow earth. We heard about this in ancient Egypt a long time ago about that story I just talked about. So maybe they've heard the story and just adopted it and said, I came up with it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who came up with it. I can't see the fact of there's no sunlight okay, first of all, there can't be a sun down there because you're going to burn up being close to the sun. Then secondly, if there's no sun, then how does light get down there? We need sunlight to live. Yeah,
and then you need food and water. You need a water source. You need food. You need housing.
What type of air is down there?
Exactly.
That's contaminated air.
It is. It's not no oxygen like it is here on Earth. There's probably a lot of, carbon dioxide you can't breathe.
All that stuff.
And whatever else. So that doesn't make a bit of sense.
Okay. So, playing the devil's advocate, what if they're an advanced civilization and maybe they have suits or maybe some type of enclosure where it's still not going to work?
No, because you know the way that you're saying that? Because listen, you have to build the suits and stuff. Where are you going to do that at if you don't want to be seen?
They might have come to the surface level and built everything and then took it down.
No, that's just too far-fetched. It doesn't make sense.
I know it doesn't make sense. I'm just playing the devil's advocate. I'm on the train that this is BS, but you're talking about this dude. Edward Halley is the same person who discovered Halley's Comet, so he's not just some run-of-the-mill scientist.
Cuckoo code.
Yeah, some people give him a lot of credence.
But it doesn't matter. Again, we just argued that the fact is it's not livable, even with suits or not. Where is your water source?
Yeah.
Where is your sunlight? Where is your food? Unless you come up here to eat and go back down.
Nah. You know how 4,000 miles, the guy just said it's 4,000 miles from our surface to the center of the earth.
They're not doing it.
Come on,
they're not going to go up and down like
not
that.
Not unless if they're advanced civilization. So another thing that I think it was the admiral, the one who flew over, he said he did see a spacecraft that traveled like extremely fast.
People said that for years that we see spacecrafts. I seen aliens. They took me up to the spaceship. They did some studies on my brain.
I'm gonna give you this. So we talked about this before, like the paintings back in around this time, 1600s, where they had the Chariot of Fire. Remember, we're talking about the Chariot of Fire. Where if you've never seen a flying object, how would you describe it? You might call it, it looked like a chariot that was on fire that was flying in the air.
You could say that, or again, it could be people doing government secrets, maybe doing some testing that out.
But was there a government back in the 16, maybe? It might have been more than that. I'm talking, this is way back then.
I don't know. I'm talking about
before photographs.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. He's saying, again, it could have been some supernatural thing, but again, that's going back to people seeing aliens, like I was just saying. Like, there's been that over history and time that people have seen this or have experienced this.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I've heard this for so long, and I actually want to do more research on it.
We should.
But common sense will tell you if you don't have sunlight, food, water, you're not going to survive.
Food source.
And we know that all the minerals that are beneath the Earth's surface are poisonous. So you would have to be And there's no sun down there. He said there's a sun that spans First of all, how do you know? How do you know? He said there's a sun that spans 600 miles across. But you don't know. You've never been down there. I don't care how many math equations you come up with. You have to see it.
You got to see it. You got to record it, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, is a sun couldn't survive down there. It's all it is the Earth's core.
Well, that's what a lot of people. That's probably what he means by the sun is the core of the Earth, and we know the core of the Earth is
it's so
a ball
hot. It's probably either hotter than the sun, or is it hot as the sun?
The sun's got to be hotter.
Yeah,
there's more mass to the sun.
But the thing is, it's hot.
Yeah, it's hot, and there's no way you're going to live.
Even with a suit, I don't care if you know exact technology.
I would give you this. Have you seen these people, the people who go up to the volcanoes and they got
crazy,
but they have these big silver suits on?
These scientists.
That's just volcanic lava coming out of. Imagine being.
That's coming from that's from the center of the earth. That's magma.
It is, but I'm saying we're just getting a taste of it. You're telling me that someone can live underground with that type of shit?
Exactly.
Nah, not at all. To kind of go off of that, another thing that I saw on the History Channel was, and I'm going to get this term incorrect, so I have to read it. It's actually called megaliths.
Megaliths? Sounds like
megaliths. No,
megawiths.
I think it's a megalith. But what it is like these big structures that were built back, like Stonehenge.
No, I believe that.
Oh, yeah, because we can see it.
We have proof of that.
Okay, but here's the question. How do they construct that without cranes, without bulldozers?
That's one thing I asked myself in history class when I was in high school.
Yeah. How did they do it?
We never had that answer.
Now, some of these people think that the pyramids are like the oldest constructs. No, they say some of these megaliths date back way like 12,000 BC. Like they've been constructed for a long time. And when you look at them, they have these little itty bitty tools. Now, I've seen, like, you talk about the Sphinx. That takes some talent to carve half pharaoh, half lion out of what, stone, rock?
And
using what?
They had tools.
The tools that I saw on the History Channel were nothing more. They call them axes, but they kind of like play school tools, where they're just rocks that are kind of sharpened.
What are you thinking?
Now, a lot of people think that, again, we're going back to the aliens. A lot of people think that there was some type of advanced civilization that came down and constructed a lot of these things.
You could be right, you could be wrong. Or they could use that little kitty tool and build it from hand.
So I just saw there was two guys, and they wanted to reconstruct it. They wanted to see if a human can actually do this. And they did, but it looked real flimsy. So the stones weren't that big. When you look at Stonehenge, these things, how many tons? 2,000 tons or some shit like that?
Yeah, and look at the pyramids. You know that was heavy.
Yeah. So I don't know how much manpower you would have to use to lift one of those things up. And then, first of all, lifting up the two pillars and then putting one on top of it. Come on. I don't know, man.
Dang, we should definitely do a section where we talk about ancient Egypt.
Yeah, ancient Egypt and all those places
I'm fascinated with that.
Yeah, because I want to know, like, what were they really using? So I know they said for a long time people didn't know how they constructed the pyramids, but I think with the technology, you can look at the constructs in Dubai. These things are incredible. So I'm sure they know how the pyramids were constructed now, but for a long time they didn't. Maybe not constructed, or maybe how they constructed it without machinery. I think that's a better question.
That's what I'm saying, is I think that they was blessed with something, because the thing is,
who's to know?
In
the comment section, if you do know, or if you have an idea, leave it down below.
Nobody knows, but you can assume how they did it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have an idea, or maybe you've heard something that we didn't hear, you could leave it in the comment section, and we'll talk about it on the show. Because we're going to revisit this. We have to.
No, I wonder.
This is unfinished.
It is, because I do want to talk about ancient Egypt and what they did back then. And because I'm into that stuff. I'm into that history gone back 3,000 years type shit. Knowing that technology wasn't so advanced like it is now.
Yeah. And it's amazing how people survived the elements.
Back then.
How they killed animals with no rifles, no,
spears.
Yeah. I mean, with spears and bow and arrows.
That's it. That they constructed.
Yeah.
And they didn't get cancer either. Because you know why? They didn't have pollution.
Radiation.
Nope.
All that stuff.
No, they probably also had, probably had some weed back then. There was some people that said that they were smoking that weed like it was going out of style.
I'm sure. I mean, if it's growing right next to
you. Plus, it wasn't illegal. It was not illegal. So,
Yeah, but this is, before any type of, I'm sure they had some type of hierarchy, but not really. Maybe a government that puts regulations on everything. This is the king. The king is number one. And
he smokes with you, so yeah.
Who knows? I guess it depends on what type of king it is. But at the end of the day, that is a head scratcher. Like all of the stuff that we take for granted that they didn't have, and they survived that shit.
They live long.
Yeah.
But we can't last 100 years. We're lucky if we do.
Well, to your point, the stuff that they're putting in the food. Now we have global warming.
Yeah, it's causing plant life cancers to die, causing the earth, the end zone layer up top to disintegrate. So it's ozone.
I'm gonna give you this. So, have you seen Prometheus?
No.
Have you seen Alien?
I believe.
Okay. I think Prometheus is the prequel to Alien.
Really?
Okay. So I watched Prometheus and this shit went right over my head. I think I went to sleep on Prometheus. I think it's a pretty
boring?
Good. It's got parts. It's not a lot of action in it.
So if you're tired, you're like,
you can kind of doze off.
Yeah.
But it's great that they have people who actually watch it and they do these reviews and they can kind of condense it. So Prometheus is supposed to be a story on how alien life form built Earth.
No.
Have you ever heard of this term, alien ant form?
No.
So apparently we're the ants. You know how ants can build their own civilization? The ants are carrying the little leaves and sticks and they can build ant holes.
If somebody's watching us.
Yeah.
No.
So, but this is just a movie.
Yeah.
So what they're talking about in this Prometheus is there was an alien being who's gigantic. He's almost like this X-Men character. Not Colossus. Do you know X-Men?
A little bit.
Who's the big ass motherfucker who's like, he swallows planets?
Oh my god. I know that escapes my.
But you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think the audience knows.
Okay.
Yeah,
so this guy's supposed to be the same thing, but he's supposed to be like a godlike figure.
Yeah, but he's watching down these.
Yeah,
people.
So that's what it is. He built Earth, and I know you're shaking your head. This is just a movie.
Yeah, I don't
believe it either, but it's just interesting that this godlike figure built Earth, put us on Earth, and he sent. So this is going back to some biblical stuff too. They're saying he saw how humans were interacting with each other, how they were just nasty and vile and people killing each other and all this type of stuff. So he sent a godlike being. Now this is the story of Jesus Christ. He sent Jesus Christ here to show us the way. And we're so nasty and evil and vile that what did we do to Jesus Christ?
Killed him.
So that's why he's putting all these plagues on the world. Even though we don't believe the story of Prometheus, it's still aligned with the story of God and Jesus. That's why we're being plagued and all this stuff, because he sent someone who was pure, who was going to show us the way, and we killed him. So he's disgusted.
But he's like coming back to take the rightful place.
He's so disgusted that he said, okay, you people are so evil and twisted that you kill a pure person. I'm going to give you all these diseases.
My son to begin with.
I'm going to give you these diseases. I'm going to give you, the fires in California and the floods and the earthquakes and the tornadoes. I'm going to put all that on you now.
He did flood the earth once, and he said, I promise I'll do this. When you say
next one is going to be fire.
Yeah, but he promised he would never flood the earth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He said he wasn't going to flood the earth again.
He never does that. He will not do that. But he's putting the earth on fire, though.
Yeah, that's the next one. He said, I'm not going to flood it again. Next time I hit you with this wrath, it's going to be fire.
And that's what he's doing. And then this plague. And there's more plagues to come. This ain't over. This is not over. If you want to get into biblical stuff and Revelation, this is not over.
Well, that's
This
the
is
thing.
just the start.
That's the thing with this Prometheus.
Maybe we're closer to Jesus returning sooner than we think.
That remains to be seen. But then I have a whole bunch of questions about that too. But I'm just going to wrap the Prometheus
we have
thing
to, we have to wrap it up.
No, just to wrap
Yeah.
the Prometheus thing up, and we are coming on time. He is the representation of God through this movie, or at least the way they broke it down is, yes, he sent his son or someone he created that was going to show us the way. We're so twisted that we killed him, and now we're going through this now. But my question is, if you have the... Let me give you an example. You are babysitting kids, right? What are you supposed to do? You're just watching them.
Yep.
If you see two kids doing something like turning on the stove or anything, are you just going to sit there and watch them do it?
Nope.
So why is that being done to us?
What do you mean?
We just sat here and said that there's a higher power who's watching us. And if we're doing stuff like, these pastors or preachers who are doing things wrong and innocent people are getting... Why do they just sit there and watch? Why don't they intervene? That's a question.
No, because I'm thinking. It's something I don't have an answer to because I'm not God. I'm just saying. I would say is because of free will.
Okay.
It can go back to free
It's
will.
free will.
Yeah, it is because he can't.
Okay.
When it comes to free will, he can't. Because he didn't want us to be robots. We're not robots. He give us free will, I guess, to see who's going to follow and who's not.
Okay, so there's a lot of
There's
avenues
a lot of,
here.
It is.
But again, we're supposed to be made in God's image.
Yes.
Okay, so when you say you're not God, you do have a piece of him in you.
You do.
Okay. So the same thing with the kids. The kids have free will, but you are the protector of those kids you're watching over. So even though they have free will, when you see them doing something you got to intervene.
You do, but like we're going back to these people hurting kids, though, like we were saying.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't know why God lets stuff happen. I don't know what his plan is. He always got a plan.
Okay.
Even though we might not see it, we might not like it.
Okay.
There was always a plan. Like I said, do you think I want my grandfather to die 3 years ago? He had a plan why he took him.
That's what I'm saying. I can understand that. Like people dying naturally.
I disagree.
Okay.
Nobody should hurt a child or anybody for that matter.
Okay, that's what I'm getting
Yes.
to. I understand, like, if your life was written, you're going to die on this day because of natural causes, or if he puts a plague on the earth to punish us for what we've done. If you die from that, I understand that. But when you have an innocent child who's done nothing, he's new to the world, and you have a predator come and do something vile to him, why are you letting that happen? That's the question.
But just know you always get it. Trust me, people that do that too, because again, it's a passage in the Bible that says, I don't know the whole full scripture, but I know it's like tying having a ankle tied to your neck and thrown to the deep desert island if you hurt one of his kids. Just know if you hurt God's child like that, if you hurt a child or like actual innocent child, you will get yours. But when you die, you will get yours.
Okay, I get that, but you even get it here too.
You do get it, yeah, you get it here, but then you get it twice as much when you die.
Okay, so these are questions we don't have. Answers we don't have.
We're not going to have these answers at all.
Because again, why should a child have to
I agree with you.
endure something
They
painful
shouldn't have to.
just for someone to learn their lesson in their afterlife?
No, again, they shouldn't have to, because it destroys the child. Like I was watching,
and it's going to F them up.
I was
the
watching
whole...
Steve Wilkos the other day. This was so sad. This story. This guy he's around my age. He's in his 20s, I believe 20. I just know bits and pieces of the story. He was starved growing up. He was sexually assaulted. He had his 2 hands broken. Mm-hmm. Everything that you can mention, he had done to him. Mm-hmm. And one of his family members, he has a daughter with his girlfriend, and his family has had the nerve to say that he did something to his daughter.
Really?
He cleared his name. He did not do anything. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, but this guy went through that when he was a kid.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend did the same. Went through the same thing, a little bit worse.
Yeah.
So, again, that leads to the question: why? Why does somebody have to endure that? Like, it's just, again, that's something that we don't know. We don't understand people sick out in this world.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's upsetting to know that. You know that
But
these
so
happen to these kids.
Okay, here's
to
another
anybody,
question.
I should say in that manner,
understand
just not kids.
Yeah, it is anybody,
Yeah.
but we also know that when something is done, it's learned behavior. So I'm not going to put family business out there, but just know I know a situation where a child, I heard about it. I didn't know, but I heard about it. But it makes sense because we hear about this in the news too. When someone has something done to them, then when they get to that age, they're going to do the same thing.
Not always.
Not always.
That's not everybody. This guy's not
that.
everybody, but yeah.
I'm talking about the situation
I
I'm talking about.
know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yes, because I've seen situations
Yes.
on Steve Wilkos where that person that was the predator was the victim, and then
Yes. So with the situation I'm talking about, it happened. So who's to say that when this child that it happened to, he gets older? Actually, you know what? They just said he did it to another child. Now, the child's not that old. This is the thing. You have to educate your kids about that, especially if it happened. Or if you have a friend or family member that you know has done it, you'll say, if such and such is over here, you get out the room or you go or you call me or something.
No. No, listen, no.
Go ahead.
I'm not saying no to that. I'm saying
Okay.
this: if somebody does that to a child, don't let them around your children. Point blank. Period.
I understand that.
Period.
I
The way that you
understand
say it is,
that.
if you get out the house. No, he should not even be. People that like that should not be near a child.
Okay, but circumstances do arise. So
But then you never leave them alone.
there's different variables.
I get that.
There's parents that have to go to work. They might leave their kid with someone they trust. Then that other person comes in. The parents at work, they don't know, but you've already instilled that in your child. When you see that guy, you got to go.
That's different.
Or you
Yeah.
tell whoever's what. No, he can't. So you have to tell him. You have to.
You have to.
Yeah, you have to educate him.
But I was just not saying no because what you're saying no is they shouldn't even be.
Yeah, I know. They should be ostracized.
Yeah, they should not even be.
They'd be cut off from the family. But there are some weird families out here who, I don't want to say they condone it, but they kind of just brush it under the rug like nothing's ever happened.
Like we talked with Mike McMahon.
Yeah.
Brush it underneath the rug.
Yeah, Vince McMahon.
Vince, I mean, not Mike. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, but we know who you're talking
Yeah.
about. At the end of the day, we're at a minute and
Yeah.
2 seconds. But to wrap this up, it is. We have to come back to this subject.
It's really touchy.
It's touchy,
because
but
I don't like because again, I don't like how what people have to go through with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's upsetting. Like it's really like
Yeah.
It upsets me just the simple fact that somebody has to kids and not even just kids, even adults have to go through stuff like this,
like rape.
Yes.
Or spouses being beat.
Yeah,
And
with everything going on now with COVID-19, it's suicides are up, the violence is up. People murdering other people for what?
Yeah. Well, like you said, it's the sign of the times. It's been the sign of the times for a long time now, though.
Yeah.
So
That's something else we got to get into. Again, we're coming up on a minute. I mean,
I mean, we haven't had an episode in a while, so it's okay if we went over a little bit. But we are definitely going to. So to wrap everything up, we do have our 30th episode. This is episode 28, correct?
Yeah.
So one more episode, we're going to invite.
A special.
We're going to have Clutch Crew on our show. We've talked to them, and we don't script anything. So
No
Clutch
script
Crew,
here,
if you're
guys.
listening to this, be on your toes because we're going to throw.
They
a lot.
already know. They already know. They was on here once in the past.
Yeah, we're going to throw some
on the 20th episode, I think it was.
Yeah, 20th episode. So the 30th, they'll be with us, so we're going to throw a lot of curveballs. But again, this has been a great episode. I am RM.
I'm Aaron.
And we'll see you next time.
Have a good night, guys.
Peace.